Hi, welcome to Point and Shoot, show about basic photography. Today we're here with Sean Goss joining us. He's a local photographer as well as owner of Goss Photo in Norwell, right there across from Beijing House on Washington Street in Norwell. And Sean owns that with his sister. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But thanks for joining us, Sean.
Thank you.
So you wear quite a few hats: photographer, printer, framer. We're going to talk to you first a little bit about your photography. How did you get into photography?
I kind of did it my whole life.
Oh.
Growing up, my dad was a professional photographer.
Oh, okay.
So we were actually looking at old photos in my store not that long ago that my dad sent us, and there was me at like 4 years old,
Oh,
like carrying
cool.
around a camera. So I've been doing it off and on like since I was little.
Okay, so always had an interest in it. And
Mm-hmm.
then did you have any formal or informal training to get to where you are now?
Most of it was actually informal. I did go to Bridgewater State before they had a photography program.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, it was tough because I was going for like a Master of Fine Arts degree.
Okay.
And then I never actually ended up finishing because life just got too busy.
Uh-huh.
But before that, it was all just reading and learning.
And then probably a lot of hands-on.
Most of it was
kind
pretty
of
much all hands-on,
on-the-job
yeah.
training, right? That's how you really get to be a good photographer, is just by doing photography, right?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. And so then what about the printing and framing aspect? How did you get into that?
I worked for Ritz Camera for about 12 years.
Oh, okay.
All over the country. I ran a ton of different labs and stores. I was a full certified Fuji technician on all their printers and stuff. So then from there, from like the basic printing, I got into fine art printing.
Okay.
And then framing just came naturally because it was expensive.
So you learned to do your own framing and then perfected it, and now you offer that service to others. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But back to your photography now, what's the gear? We talk a lot about gear on this show because, of course, photographers love their gear. What's your go-to stuff as far as cameras and lenses?
The stuff I've been using lately, I shoot with a Canon 1DX.
Okay.
I also have a 1DS and a 1D Mark IV.
Okay. How about lenses?
Lenses, I got a lot. The ones I use the most are probably, I use a 35 1.4. I have the 24-70 2.8L.
Okay.
The 70-200 2.8L.
Okay, so.
500 f4L. I have a 100 macro.
So pretty wide range, allowing you to do a wide variety of shooting, depending on what you're doing. Okay, now how about gear you want? Anything on your wish list?
I want a Hasselblad H6D would be nice.
So that's like a
medium format
medium
digital.
format. Okay.
Yeah, they.
Oh, it's digital.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're somewhat cost prohibitive most of the time. You know, you end up spending about $30,000 or $40,000 on one.
Wow.
And I can't justify that yet.
Right. So, dream big, right?
Yep.
All right. Now let's talk about Goss Photo that is on Washington Street in Norwell. When did you establish that?
December of 2012.
Oh, so coming up on already 2 years.
Yeah, we're coming up on 2 years.
Coming up on 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, and how's it going there, and what can you tell us about the services that you provide there?
So far, it's going great. We basically took the idea of, since me and my sister both worked for Ritz Camera for so long,
Okay.
When they went out of business, I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Gotcha.
I looked at her and said, I'm going to start this. Are you in or out? And that's how it started. We took everything we've ever wanted to do at Ritz and took it further. Because we're no longer controlled by someone telling us what we can and can't do.
Gotcha.
So we work directly with a lot of photographers and a lot of wedding photographers as well.
Okay.
A lot of fine art printing is what I do mostly.
Okay.
But we also cater to anybody who wants to come in and just get like a regular 4x6.
Yep, I know. I've been in there quite a few times. You've helped me out a bunch, and the great thing about your place too is that it's local. You don't have to try to do something online. I came in with a couple times with a problem or issue, and you're there, Tara's there, so you can actually talk to a person and they help you out. That's the thing I really liked about it, besides, of course, the great service that you provide. But it's a good place for advice, I mean, for people that need help. So that's the thing I liked about it. Now, you mentioned your sister, Tara. She works there with you. How's that work out with the two of you guys there?
Well, we got all our fighting out early.
Good.
I think we stopped fighting when I was about 15.
Oh, really early? Okay.
You know, so like she's one of my best friends, and she does a great job.
Okay.
We kind of split up the things that we do. Like I handle a lot of the fine art stuff, and pretty much all the framing and a lot of the technical, tricky projects.
Okay.
Tara does a great job running the printer. She handles almost all the customers before I get to them.
Okay.
And she's just excellent at helping people get done what they need to. Her favorite things are like building collages and books and stuff like that. Those are what she really likes to do.
So you guys each have a specialty, and then she specializes in those things, and you specialize in some of the other stuff.
Yeah, we kind of work together really well with it.
Okay, good. Now, I know you guys, we're going to be, in a later segment, we're going to go out to Goss Photo, take a look at all the stuff you have there, but I know you talked about some of the printing, and how about the special printing apparatus that you have there? What can you tell us about that?
Well, for main orders, we have a Fuji Frontier 370 and an SP 2000 scanner. And that handles basically everything up to an 8x10.
Okay.
It's a chemical process, so it's not an inkjet. We still use developer fixer, all that to get the pictures out.
Okay.
Above that, we go to inkjet printers. I got a variety of them.
Okay.
Up to 44 inches wide.
Oh, great.
And then anything beyond that, we do work with a couple companies that do a lot of the specialty stuff too.
Okay. And I know when I came in, I was looking for, actually I didn't know what I was looking for, but you helped me out with a very special type of paper and matting. So you can do, if someone has a project or something in mind, if you don't have it, you can help them get it, help them find it.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
I like challenges too, and I like to be creative, and I like to print things differently.
Right.
Because there's so many different ways to print something that it gets boring if you do it the same way every time. And you know, a standard print on luster paper looks amazing, but sometimes you can take it further. Right. Like we did on the rice paper with yours.
Exactly. So good. Now, let's get back to your photography that you do. You do photography. What's your favorite type of thing to shoot?
My favorite, probably landscape and wildlife.
Okay.
Are probably my two favorite ones. Beyond that, I like working with people. I like doing weddings and things like that as well.
Okay. And is most of your landscape photography local, or have you traveled far?
I've traveled everywhere in the U.S., just about.
Wow.
There's a couple states I haven't hit yet. I want to go to Louisiana. But I used to live in Washington, so I've traveled all over the U.S. But that's about where it stops so far. I haven't had a chance to get out of the country yet. But.
Okay. So scenic, some wedding photography, some wildlife photography. And I know recently you've won some awards for your photography. We're going to talk about that when we come back. When we come back, we're going to take a look at some samples of Sean's work. So stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Point and Shoot, a show about basic photography. I'm your host, Susan Hagstrom, and today we're talking to Sean Goss, local photographer and framer and printer, all three rolled up into one. He's the owner of Goss Photography with his sister Tara out in Norwell, and in a little bit we're going to go take a look at Goss Photo, but right now we're going to take a look at some of Sean's work. Now, Sean, you said that you're interested, you do a wide variety of photography, but today we're going to take a look at some samples that you brought with us, mostly scenics and a little bit of nature photography. So what can you tell us about this? Where was this taken?
That was one of the beaches down by Situate.
Okay.
Probably near Minot.
Okay.
A lot of the stuff I've been doing lately has been very minimalistic.
Okay.
So not much in them, but I focus a lot on like tones and gradients and stuff like that.
And, oh, there's another one too. And what do you do? I know we see pictures like this that have sort of a silky look to the water there. Is that a sort of is that a long exposure technique?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
Yeah, most of the stuff is long exposure when it comes to like scenic stuff.
Okay.
With what I do.
Right. And how about time of day? This looks like it might be sunrise or sunset?
Sunset,
okay.
Just after the sun like went down.
Oh, wow. Is that the same spot
Same
there?
day, yeah. There's actually one coming up that was shot in, was in the Duxbury Art Complex for a while.
Oh, okay.
It was that one.
Okay, so that, here on South Shore, we're lucky to have a wide range of exhibits that we can enter and contests, and so this, I know I saw it too, it was out in the Duxbury Art Complex. It was part of the Winter Juried Show. And how big did you print this one up? I remember seeing it. It was pretty big.
It was about 40 inches wide.
40 inches wide.
And then with the frame, I think it was about 48.
Okay, so that's a big print, and that's the kind of thing you do down at Goss Photo. Now, where was this taken?
That was down off Minot.
Okay.
Minot Beach in Situate, just after sunset. I use a lot of graduated filters as well.
Oh, on your camera.
Right.
Okay.
I try and stay away from a lot of Photoshop work if I can.
Yeah, because I was going to say, you could do that kind of thing after, but so you use a graduated filter. Is it a thing where you stack them? Do you use more than one?
Sometimes.
Okay.
All depends.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. Now, is that a black and white, or is that an infrared?
That one is a black and white.
Okay.
That's off of Hull Gut.
Oh, wow.
Overlooking Boston.
So is that night?
Yeah.
Night photography?
Well,
okay.
Sunset.
Sunset again?
You get the best sunsets down there if you ever want to shoot them. It's the best place to go.
Good. I have not been there. I mean, I've been there, but not to do photography. And then again, so is that a little bit of a long exposure there?
Yeah.
Kind of, okay.
Yeah, some of them range from anywhere from like, a third of a second to 10 or 15 minutes, depending on the picture.
Okay. And what are we looking at here?
Just an old bridge down in Hull. I don't know exactly what beach it is.
Okay. And what did you like about this when you saw it in your viewfinder?
I actually saw a friend of mine took a picture very similar to it,
okay.
and I asked him where it was, and then I blatantly told him I was going to go steal his picture.
Good, good.
Because I liked it a lot.
Photographers, I mean, we get a lot of ideas from other people, and the great thing is that I've had my camera club. We're all sitting there taking pictures of the exact same, Zakim Bridge, but none of them look remotely the same.
Between me and him, he had a really nice foggy day, so he lost the horizon altogether.
Okay.
But I really liked the way the bridge looked and everything. And he's
and the colors has
he's
sort
just
of
starting out. So like I told him, the best form of flattery is when someone takes your picture. So.
Exactly. All right, I like that. Where was this taken?
Again, that's down in Hull.
Okay.
I go down that way a lot because it's close to work and I can get there by the time the sun sets.
Okay.
When we close. But again, long exposure. I use a lot of rocks in foreground, but I try and keep it really simple. I don't
so again, kind of following that basic rule of thirds, where you have something in the foreground, middle ground, and then those nice wispy clouds up in the top third, right?
Yeah, I do break the rule of thirds a lot. I do a lot of like centered horizons and stuff like that, depending on the picture.
All right.
Because if there's, sometimes it just looks good.
Right. I noticed the theme we could see in all these pictures so far, except for the black and white ones, is blue, right?
Right. I've been working on that ever since that picture in Duxbury. I've been slowly working on like a collection of that.
Oh, okay.
This one was off Powder Point.
Okay.
And that one there, I liked it just because we totally lost the horizon
altogether. I was
altogether.
just going to say, yeah. So except for, I mean, you see where the delineation between the sand and the surf, but then it just sort of
disappears.
Fades. Yeah, but there's still some texture to the surf, and then a little bit of texture to the water behind it, and then obviously a little bit of texture in the sky. So
yeah, and it looks really cool on like a printed piece versus like a monitor, because you get even more in there.
Okay. What time of day was that?
That was nighttime.
Nighttime again. Okay. Now here we go. Some specialties of yours include these snowy owls, right?
Oh, the snowy owls. Everybody loves the snowy owls.
Yes, they eluded me this winter. I was so jealous of everyone who got all these shots, because apparently they could be seen.
They were abundant. There were about 5 of them off of Duxbury, and it was all about persistence. I went there every morning for 2 weeks straight.
Oh my gosh. So this is a morning, and how early do you have to go out to do this?
I would leave probably about 6:30 or 7 and get out onto like the Duxbury Beach as the sun was coming up or a little after.
Oh wow. And so what kind of lens do you use for this?
Most of them were shot with the 500. And
500, okay. So pretty standard nature photography lens, and allows you to be pretty far away. Compresses the shot nicely.
Compresses it well. Occasionally I'll use a teleconverter and stuff along with it, depending on how far away.
This guy was just staring right at you.
Yep, after a while.
Okay, that's cool. Oh, now this is completely different.
Now for something completely different.
Exactly. Where was this?
This is out in Oregon. It's just an old barn.
Oh, wow.
But we had really, really harsh lighting, so it was hard to get anything good of the whole scene.
Oh,
so
okay.
During the middle of the day when everybody says don't shoot, I usually continue to.
Okay.
But you got to focus more on details and things like that.
Right.
Because you get more drama out of them than if you do like an entire shot.
Right. So you saw something in there.
I just love the texture of the wood.
Yeah. Make something out of that larger picture. Oh, now we're back to the beach.
This is the other beach, though. That's out in Oregon.
Oh, wow.
Off the Oregon coast.
Okay.
It was a shot that reminded me of the Rhine, if you've heard of that photo.
Yes.
Sold for $4 million. I would love that to happen to me.
Okay.
But this was just one of those, like, everything worked out really well, and the sky was nice and dark, so it actually overexposed the water. And in a print, it almost looks like two photos separated.
So purposely. So you have that leading line of the little rivulet there going into the is that the ocean you're saying?
Yeah.
And then the separation between those clouds and the sky and then the ocean. So, and how come you decided to do that one in black and white?
It was a very gray day.
Okay. So sometimes that you can take that and make it a little more dramatic. Here's another one. This is a familiar
powder point.
Yep.
That was one of the days we had one of our interns. I went out and shooting with her because we like to teach our interns something rather than just make them work for us all the time.
Right.
And the day just ended up being perfect. Perfect reflection in the still water and everything else.
Wow. Now was this later in the day you're saying?
Later in the afternoon, and that was done with an infrared camera.
Oh wow. Okay. And how do you keep it all in focus there?
Small apertures and a tripod.
Okay, tripod, that's key.
That's key for
best
image stabilization ever.
For those long exposures too, right?
Yep.
And then how about this? Is this?
Same day down in Duxbury.
Okay.
Just facing the other direction.
Okay.
And then this is out in Oregon.
Okay.
And we got more of Oregon there, just waterfalls and things like that, little snippets.
Okay. Oh, wow.
That's Montanoma Falls out in Oregon as well.
Out in Oregon, okay. So a lot of scenic, a lot of, especially when you're talking about that silky water, definitely need a tripod for that, right?
Most definitely.
Yeah, okay.
And then that's the Goonies, the haystack rock from the Goonies.
Oh,
when we were out in Oregon. My dad, we were out there, he's a photographer, didn't get a picture of me getting hit by the wave while I was standing in my waist up to water in the middle of October.
Wow.
Freezing, but the picture came out cool.
That is awesome.
That was good.
Yeah. There's something that looks more like almost like an abstract.
Yep, it's just reflection of trees on water. If you look close, there's a couple little ripples and stuff in there.
Yeah.
And I just like the way the colors lined up, like on a diagonal.
Yeah.
Worked out really well.
There's a dramatic sky.
And we're back down to Hull. When it comes to sunsets, best place to go.
Yeah,
Very end.
I like those rocks too. There again, kind of have that rule of thirds with the rocks and then the water and then the sky.
Yep, faster shutter speed on that one.
Okay. This was an award winner.
That was the, I won first place color for the Marshfield
North River Arts Fest. Yep, I saw it this weekend. Wow, that's really dramatic.
Yep, they do a thing called Steam in the Snow every year where they fire up the steam trains and run them. So when you learn where they are, it makes it a little easier to get a good picture. But on a day like that, it makes it almost impossible to take a bad picture.
Yeah,
so,
well, I don't know about that, but that's awesome. The colors are amazing, everything. That's just got everything in it. I can see why it won an award.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for bringing your photos.
Yeah, no problem.
We've been talking with Sean Goss. Got to see a little bit of his photography. And stay tuned, because when we come back, we're going to be out in Norwell at Goss Photo, where Sean's going to show us a little bit of what they do there, some printing, some framing, and hopefully his sister Tara will be joining us. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We've been talking to Sean Goss, owner of Goss Photo Lab, located right here at 454 Washington Street in Norwell. And now we're going to go head inside. We're going to get a tour of the lab. We're going to look at some of the specialty framing and printing that they do there. We're also going to meet his co-owner and sister, Tara Goss. So let's go in and take a look. Here we are inside Goss Photo Lab. We're joined today by Sean Goss, who we've been speaking with, and his sister, Tara. They run Goss Photo Lab here in Norwell, 454 Washington Street. And they have a wide variety of services as well as other products that are available here. So thanks for joining us today, guys. So what we're going to do is get a little virtual tour of all the things that are available here. Just in a general way, what can you tell us about all the things you have right here in the shop?
Well, when you first come in, we have our kind of merchandise setup. So we have our frames, our albums, some little camera accessories. If you go over to that back corner there, we have our kiosk where you do all your photo ordering. So you can go in with your cards and just print your own photos. If you go to the back here, this is our lab area. So in the back, we have our main photo printer, and that's for just your standard prints and our video setup. If you go back here, we have our enlargement printers, and then back in Sean's area, we do a lot of the restoration work and editing work. And then over there, we do a lot of the framing work.
Okay, very good. And I know I've been coming here. You guys have been here now for a couple of years?
About a year and a half.
Year and a half. I've been coming here for probably 6 months to a year, and the thing that I find so helpful is not just all the things available here, but really the brain power and experience behind this counter. They have the kiosks there for standard prints, and that's fine, but you can do anything from standard prints to really creative things. And when you get into the more creative things, that's where these guys are here to help you out with ideas, as well as, you know, having the practical materials available. So when people come in, let's talk about the kiosks for a little bit. When people come in and they want to do those, how does that work? They bring in some type of memory card?
Yep, so you would bring in some sort of digital media, whether it's a memory card, flash drive, CD, hard drives, and then we plug them into those computers over there. They load up and all your photos will come up on the screen. From there you can choose all your photos. You can select from a variety of different sizes. You can crop and do all that type of stuff. And if you're having trouble with it, or if you're not comfortable with it, we'll sit there with you. We'll do it all with you. If it's your first time in the store, we'll definitely give you a little tutorial of it all. If you want to sit there by yourself and have us leave you alone, we can do that too.
And now, is that something that once you've selected the pictures that you want, you can print them right away, or do they have to order them?
For the most part, they're printed within the hour. It really depends on what we have going on at the time, but 90% of the stuff we do is within an hour or a day service.
Now, in addition to the standard prints and the framing and the matting, I noticed on your website you have quite a wide variety of other video and photographic services. What can you tell us about the other things you have available?
A lot of the other things we do still revolve around photos and printing. So we do, the canvas wraps are really cool. We do those. We do a lot of photo cards and photo gifts, books. You know, you can get your Christmas cards, all that type of stuff. We do a lot of enlargement printing, so posters. We can mount those on a foam core. We can also print on a variety of different papers. So we have some fine art papers. We have some standard papers. You know, there's a lot to choose from. And then aside from that, we also do a lot of archiving. So if you have old slides, photos, videos, we can scan those onto a DVD so that you have them, VHS tapes, reels, all that type of stuff. And then we also do photo restoration, so repairing old photographs.
Good. So again, quite a wide variety of services. So in addition to the kiosk printing, you can probably see they have some state-of-the-art printers behind us. We're going to take a closer look. All the printing is done on site right here with these guys, you know, working at it. It's not sent off somewhere. So if there's a problem or you have a question, they're right on the job here to look at it. So in just 1 second, we're going to take a closer look at some of the machinery going on behind the desk here. So here we are in back of the inner sanctum of Goss Photo. We're going to take a look at this big machine. What can you tell us about this, Tara?
This is one of our main printers that we use at the store. This is our Fuji Frontier printer. This printer will print everything, most of everything that we do, 8x12 and smaller. It is a chemical printer. It does not use ink. Back here we have the magazines for the printer. So for this printer we carry a glossy finish, a matte finish, and a metallic finish. And these papers are all darkroom sensitive. And attached to the printer, we also have a very high-end professional scanner for our slides and our negatives. But we use this all day, every day.
So that's good. That looks like it gets a good workout. All right, now we're going to take a look on the other side of the room at a different kind of printer they use. Okay, so Sean, now we're over in your area. I like that you guys, have separate, brother and sister. I'm not sure. You guys don't seem to be fight ever, but I don't know if you get just grown out of that. But anyway, I think it's good you have some separate workstations. Anyway, we've seen a lot of Tara's work stations here. Now we're going to get into this is Sean's area of expertise. And what can you tell us about what goes on back here, Sean?
Well, one, we need our separate workstations. She does yell at me when I play with the helicopters inside.
Good to know.
But over here, basically, all the stuff that I do is, one, the boring part, paying bills, but two, a lot of the fine art printing and everything comes through here. I have calibrated monitors. I have a Wacom Cintiq where you can draw right on the screen to do any sort of restoration or anything that you need done. Okay. And I also do a ton of different custom scanning, some different custom video orders with video editing gets done back here. A lot of the time, if you walk in, you see my head just kind of sticking up over the big printer.
Okay.
But overall, this is where we spend a lot of the creative time.
Okay.
When we're not framing and we're doing something else.
Okay.
Whether it's cards or fine art prints or anything like that.
Okay. So now we've seen the printer that you use for some standard printing. I think we're going to have you set something up here and watch it come out on that gigantic printer. What can you tell us about that printer? What's that used for?
Well, basically, gigantic is the right word for it. We can print up to 44 inches wide by 100 feet long, depending on the roll of paper.
Wow.
It uses 11 different inks, so you actually have blue, green, yellow, different shades of magenta, and 4 different shades of black.
Okay.
And we run, I have about 8 or 9 different kinds of paper for it in stock all the time.
Okay.
So I use it for everything from a standard 11 by 14 to the large stuff that I print and have been in galleries as of lately. So.
Okay, nice. So I think we're going to have you, you want to set something up and we'll watch it go through?
Most definitely.
All right. And so here we are with the finished product, a 30 by 44 inch beautifully printed shot by Sean Goss of Powder Point Bridge in Duxbury. And was this an award-winning photo?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. To be continued. Anyway, thanks Tara and Sean for showing us around your lab today. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Remember, if you have an idea for a show, feel free to contact HCAM. If you want to be a guest on the show, also contact HCAM. We want your input. So thanks again for joining us. And remember, if you want to be a better photographer, you just need to start with 2 things: point and shoot. Have an idea for a show that you want to share with us? Contact us at hcampointandshoot@gmail.com.